In the most recent episode of Helluva Boss, Full Moon, Stolas and Blitz unfortunately broke up. But with that being something they already made clear from the Season 2 trailer, the real question is, will they make up, and if so, how? My name is Deepcut, demons call me ImpCut, subscribe if you haven't, and leave an ooh-woo in the comments, and I'll reply with an ooh-woo in return. But only for like the first few hours, then I gotta go do other stuff. The most recent episode was not what I was expecting, with certain plot points like the cherubs and dorks coming much earlier than expected this season, and other moments such as Visago and Andrealphys waiting for Stolas seemingly coming much later in the season. The next episode is called Apology Tour, and at this point it's hard to say who is really apologizing to who in this episode, but it does seem like it's going to end with Blitz and Stolas making up, but maybe not actually getting together. Full Moon ended with Stolas dismissing Blitz, so to speak, not wanting to try and build anything new because Blitz's first impression of Stolas was so low. In many ways, it feels like Stolas is the one who needs to go on an apology tour, not just with Blitz for this, but everyone else he has hurt. He put Blitz into this arrangement against his will, not caring how it would also affect his own family. Stella was already a monster to Stolas, so he didn't seem to care about how he hurt her, but his actions have been very much at the expense of Octavia as well. There is no perfect way to divorce your evil wife, but Stolas' actions towards Stella are done without any thought for Octavia, it would seem. Stolas never tried to be amicable in his breakup, as futile as that may have been, but immediately went into attack mode on her. He didn't do anything to talk to Octavia about this either, and instead went out of his way to masquerade as just being a happy family with their trip to Lululand, for which he invited the imp that he was sleeping with. Now, in the trailer, we have what looks like a dramatic musical sequence where Stolas is featured with beautiful shifting imagery in the background, followed by a few shots that focus on portraits of Blitz with their glass shattering. These could be from an episode much further down the road, but it would make sense that if Stolas is the one who ends up on some sort of apology tour, that he would have a dramatic musical number with these elements. In the trailer, we also hear Octavia shouting that Stolas never loved her mother and that he doesn't even love her, just Blitz. This is such a harsh thing for her to say, especially after the progress they seem to make in their adventure to Hollywood. But it's not some coincidence that Octavia feels this way. Stolas was purposely written as ignoring Octavia at the beginning of that episode, really emphasizing how little thought he puts into her when it comes to dealing with Stella. He treats her like she is some sort of secondary accessory, like a pet almost, who will simply adjust to whatever new life he makes for himself. He didn't even try to create the pretense of being amicable with Stella so that Octavia could eventually choose Stolas over her mother because of her own bad behavior. Even if he did something wrong eventually in that scenario, she would know that he had tried to do the right thing for her in the beginning. But that thought isn't there with Stolas. He is an endearing character, but he is one who is definitely legitimately selfish, while still happening to be a rather nice and empathetic person. He is realistic in that a lot of selfish people can also seem rather nice and use their nice persona to get more of what they want more often, even at the expense of others. To put it in uwu terms, it's just hard to say no to this face. This is the kind of nice persona that doesn't have to be fake or orchestrated, it can be very sincere, but that's why it can feel jarring when that person isn't exactly nice in their more overarching treatment of a person, seemingly taking more and more advantage of them over time despite maintaining their nice pretenses. Stolas is a lot like his own father Paimon, both wanting their children to be happy in the moment, but only because they don't care about how they feel about the bigger picture, assuming they will just adjust to it. It's because of Stolas' general kind mannerisms that you want to be forgiving of the little moments where he expects more of you, but when you line them all up like Octavia seems to be doing, it gives the impression that he takes care of Octavia and that he is fond of her, but that he doesn't necessarily love her in the way that Octavia believed he had. If Stolas went to Octavia to apologize, he could end up in a similar situation to the one he was just in with Blitz. He could be apologizing essentially for the wrong reasons, not realizing just how much damage he had truly done to her through this affair, and that can lead to her saying that he doesn't actually love her. Beyond that, Stolas doesn't have too many people to apologize to, I think, and in another shot, we see him on stage with Veronica singing in front of a banner that says Blitz sucks. While the apology tour being like a music tour would be interesting, the rest of the teaser of course points to Blitz being the one on the actual apology tour. This is interesting to me because Blitz doesn't appear to have done anything wrong, at least on the surface. Stolas was singing at the beginning of the episode that he was most worried about him being a monster if there truly was no reaction from Blitz about his feelings. When Blitz thinks Stolas is just role-playing, this confirms Stolas' fears, and Stolas is seemingly crushed because of how screwed up their situation was for Blitz to have that conclusion. But that isn't something Blitz should apologize for. But Blitz did really dig into Stolas at the end. He was extending an olive branch in a way, giving Stolas a chance to address what he did instead of just dismissing Blitz for it. But that just hurt Stolas and made him angry. Perhaps what ultimately develops here is that Stolas does become angry with Blitz, being upset that Blitz couldn't see Stolas' feelings after everything that had actually happened before the arrangement even started. We like to harp on how this arrangement framed the relationship in Blitz's mind, making it transactional, but it really was a last-ditch attempt to get Blitz in his life after trying to be more so generous with the grimoire. The pilot is not so canon when it comes to Stolas' portrayal in particular, but in episode 1 when Stolas calls Blitz, it has been after Stolas let Blitz use his grimoire for some time. I imagine that, like in the pilot, Stolas had been reaching out about it, and Blitz knew at some point he'd have to address that he had stolen this, but Stolas was letting Blitz use it for a few months, hoping that Blitz would see how well-meaning he really is. In the end, you could say it wasn't Stolas who made Blitz believe their relationship was transactional, but rather, Blitz had made it so that even after letting Blitz use his grimoire for a while, Stolas' only option to keep pursuing Blitz was making it transactional. It's still not great, but again, Blitz did just straight up steal this for his own benefit, and ultimately seemed to rely on the idea that his history with Stolas would make any repercussions for this go away. As many have theorized, these scenes of Stolas in his robe could be from Apology Tour, with Blitz trying to apologize to Stolas, but him still just not wanting to hear it anymore. We see a shot where Stolas is clearly angry with Blitz, and as many fans have commented, seems to be holding back his temper more than anything. In the trailer, Stolas also is heard asking someone if they regret the things they do. Stolas could actually be talking to just about anyone here, but if it is about Blitz, it might be the line that sends Blitz on his spiral of an apology tour. This would of course involve apologizing to Verosika, who appears in the trailer as well. She can be heard insulting Blitz, whereas Blitz is responding that everyone in hell is awful, and that he's at least trying to apologize. This doesn't seem to end well though. While it doesn't lead to some epic robot battle, as that footage from the trailer turned out to be of the cherubs in their cool mech suits, it does seem to escalate to Verosika and Stolas crossing paths again and singing on stage, seemingly about Blitz. However, this doesn't have to be an entirely negative thing. In some shots, we see Blitz in the strange white cloth with red spots that he wore when apologizing to Verosika, but in another shot, he's clearly talking to Stolas. Stolas is sad, and unlike in the scene with his robe, he seems to be wearing his formal outfit, such as he's also wearing on stage with Verosika. Later in the trailer, we also see Blitz and Stolas glowing in these outfits, Stolas seemingly singing with a much more positive expression. Whoever ends up actually apologizing on this apology tour isn't that important, as either way, it seems to end with Blitz and Stolas having some sort of magical moment together where they get a little bit of closure, but that doesn't mean they will actually start a relationship. In the trailer, Blitz says that he doesn't want to be this way, at least not forever, which if from that moment at the end of Apology Tour, could signal that he's ready to start changing, but that he's not ready for a real relationship with Stolas yet. We're not at the end of season 2 even, and there would be 3 more episodes after this for that to develop a bit more slowly. But Blitz actually has to deal with the trauma of his drama if he really doesn't want to be this way forever, as he says. And in the trailer, it looks like there will be future episodes where this could play out, such as the following episode, Ghost Effers, where it looks like Blitz will be haunted by these ideas. The episode title Ghost Effers has been associated with the footage from the trailer that shows Blitz and Millie exploring a haunted hotel on Earth. This is likely due to a human dying and coming to hell as a sinner, claiming to have been killed by a ghost. Hence, Blitz goes in with a vacuum instead of with real weapons. As we can see in the trailer, however, the hotel is owned by a possessor, a deep sea demon believed to be from the Envy Ring. Using his demonic powers, he is able to make the hotel seem like it is haunted by a legitimate ghost, killing his own clientele. I expect this episode to be a Blitz and Millie version of episode 6 from season 1. This episode had Blitz and Moxie bonding over an Earth mission with crazy hallucinations from a special gas that the agents of Dorks gave them. These cool, trippy hallucinations allow us to see the inside of our characters' minds, such as seeing how Blitz is haunted by his past relationship and fears what he is getting into with Stolas. This episode could have the possessor slowly preying on the memories of Blitz that have been affecting him, giving him a chance to open up to Millie about the situation that perhaps made Blitz so quick to push Stolas away. For a while now, Blitz has been insisting that Stolas can't ever love him, but alludes to this being proven by someone in his past. This started with Blitz rambling about how no royal elite could ever love a lowly imp, insisting that Fizz's own relationship was also a lie. Fizz didn't pay much attention to this, but it showed how Blitz seemed to have this in his head as an actual rule of life. Then, in the most recent episode, Blitz said that people like Stolas do this every time, indicating that it has in fact happened to him before, an elite leading him on romantically, but revealing he has no interest in Blitz. And that will take some time for Blitz to unpack in episodes like Ghost Effers, and perhaps beyond that. But what do you guys think? Let me know your theories in the comments down below, and check out this animatic that our animator Aldo has been working on.
Well, 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 if it isn't my arch rival, Racer Rabbit. Shady the Bat, you're here for the magic crystal as well?
Careful, Racer! He almost beat you last time.
I guess we'll have no choice but to battle till the very end, our hands all over each other. No homo. There is no homo that I fear. Well then, may the best homo win!
Wait, what did you say?